Hello everybody, welcome to the Stray Sheep. We are starting our MTG content. A little bit of a fun one, an oldies, a Theros Beyond Death Draft. This format came out a little while ago, and it's very nice, very fun. A lot of devotion, hectic things. And before we get started, I'll give you guys a heads up what the format's about. So you have a lot of enchantment-themed effects, you have a lot of graveyard effects, there's Escape, which allows you to replay cards indefinitely, as long as you pay it a little cost. And it's very interesting, very fun format. I played a lot of it beforehand. Thankfully they have a flashback this set, so we will see how this goes. Draft starting out well, we got Nightmare Shepherd, very good card. Insanely good card. Very good. 4-mana 4/4 flyer. Dies twice, everything dies twice, even better. Leading off to a Timoret, just a good devotion card, good toughness. Has a lot of exile effects in the graveyard, so very good start to a draft. Alright, we look through the pack. It's okay. I think I'm leaning more towards the Blessing. It's a nice little fight spell. It's okay. Not great, not the best. A little weak for this early in the pack, but we're on for a black-green deck. Okay, pack is dead, unfortunately. Not much else to look at. Maybe it's the aspect. Not really happen anything. Let's line up a little white-black deck with the Pilgrim. It's okay. Storyteller, another solid white card. Not crazy about it, not upset about it though. Recursion's always good in these formats. And white-black has a fun little interaction with a pacifism enchantment with the Pilgrim. You can tutor up an aura that pacifies a creature, and then activate an ability to exile, and then flicker that enchantment. We might see it later in the draft too, hopefully. Okay, not much else great. Uncommons aren't good for us. Pegasus is kinda bad. Harpy's fine. Graveyard exile effect. 2/1 flyer. Take it. Blessing's okay. 4-mana 4/3's fine, not crazy. Let's keep going the black-white train. A little bit of delay here. Deck is looking okay. We need to have an idea and a little bit of power and some good ETBs. There's that flicker I was talking about. So with Flicker of Fate, you can actually flicker an enchantment that exiles their creatures, and they get to reuse that enchantment later. If we don't see it, I'll bring it up in a little preview view. But not feeling Temple Thief. Card's okay. This is a 2-drop if we need it. No playable cards. If we end up in green later, that 3-drop would be fine. No playables. Pack dwindling down. Really shows the color that people aren't in. Yeah. The wings might have been good there. That 1-drop artifact. Has been very playable when I played that format. Good rare. Slam dunk that. 6-drop is fine, but that 3-drop's so good for escape. Gives you value, occurs a couple times. We hope to wheel that 6-drop, the 4 black 6-drop. It's essentially an FTK that ETBs just kills a creature and stays. So we're really hoping to wheel one of those. Alright, Dryad's very good. So is the Cataplepus, the 4 black. Myers Grasp is amazing, but we're not going to pass up on that Dryad value. If we have to go 3-color, it'd be very good for us. Okay, pretty easy Acolyte. It's just an Eternal Witness. The ETBs, you get to bring back a card, and you mill 2, so always just straight up value in this set. Not much else to see here. Pretty weak pack. Carriage is just a ramp creature, adds mana. We're leaning a little bit away from white here. We just haven't seen any good white cards, so we're probably going to lean more into this black-green deck. So we're going to probably bin these white cards eventually if we don't find any payoff. Alright, so something fun to note here. Return to Nature. That is essentially a 2-drop kill anything in this format. Since most creatures are enchantment creatures, and Return to Nature destroys an artifact, enchantment, or exiles a card from the graveyard, it has 3 very relevant modes for this entire format. So those are premium, and it's a huge signal that green is open. If we see any more, it'd be even more of a signal. So we're definitely eyeing up this black-green deck. Okay, nothing left. The rare is very good. The rare is very good. It breaks boards. But the Blessing or the Brawler, the 4 green card, are probably the pick here because they're inherent 2-for-1s. And the Boar is just kind of niche. We're kind of waiting a little bit on it, but we end up with the good old 6-drop Killer Creature. Second Timurret's good, but the Entrancing Lyre is A++ in this format. Repeatable removal you can use for anything. Charger's very good, but again, Return to Nature, just a Doomblade. It is amazing in this format. And we get the Cataclysmus. So that is 2-1 there, and our top end's looking very good. Now if we get any more Recursion, that'd be even better for this black-green deck, but we could do for a good rare, a little bit of Recursion, anything else to really help us here. But the deck's looking good. We got up our enchantment count though. We're looking a little light on enchantments. Yeah, Typhoon is very good for the escape decks, but I feel like here we needed the enchantment, so Mogus's Favor is a little better. Mogus's Favor just ends up being a repeatable kill spell for all the X1s. Okay, pack's dwindling down here. Binding is just a good place filler. Okay. Forerunners. Fine 5-drop. Enchantment. Taking a good Forerunner. Not going to play it though. And then kind of running out of playables here. Kind of dwindling. Okay. Rope Dancer is good. Pursuit is a final playable. So we ended up here with black-green. A little bit of good top ends. We have good removal. Trancing Lyre, Blessing. We have Mogus's Favor for little guys. We have Acolyte for a little bit of late game. Binding of the Titans for that. Our 3-drop spots are looking solid. The only thing I would want to see from this deck would have to be more enchantments and a little more card draw. But Theros is a little bit hard on that. With black-green, you don't really have much card draw options. But with that, let's get into the games. Alright, solid hand. Nothing too crazy here. Do a little autopilot, play a 2-drop, play a 3-drop, and just play the game. Okay, nothing crazy. That's a 2-drop. Okay. Now, it's nice here to always get your value. So if you were going to play the Tower Scout, you can untap your Road Dancer, but for now we're just play Dryad and get our ramp value. You can play 2 lands a turn and turns all your lands into 5-color spells, or 5-color lands. So very powerful. If we had a powerful 3-color deck, he'd be even better, but we're not really fully using it. It's a good blocker though. Also procs your enchantment matters. Okay, opponent is dirtling a bit. Oh, 3 colors. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Use for a little more action here, but we can work with these cards. Nothing crazy. Little Tower Scout. 8 counter. We should have led on the Caryatid. We could have probably eaten that counter spell if he was a little bit too greedy, but whatever. We have a backup. Get some value. Next turn we get to use the other part of Binding and possibly hit a problematic card in the graveyard. I don't think he has any, but the 3rd chapter is what you want out of that card. More Recursion. Alright. Opponent has to do something here. Obviously holding up a counter spell. I don't know how much we care about that, though. Good choice. And again, I feel like the correct play would have been to go Caryatid into the counterspell and then go Timurret. But yeah, we fell for it right here. We should have sequenced it better. Hopefully it does not come back to bite us too terribly. But we still have board advantage once he plays a giant creature. We can always return the card with the Binding. Okay. Okay. Card doesn't do much. Just the 4 mana 3/3. See, the big problem here is we don't have enough devotion, so we can't kill that thing outright. So we got to be a little fancy here. So we're gonna do this pre-combat to incentivize some really bad blocks. Because if we did it after combat, we'd have just lost our 2/2. But this way, we can have him make that terrible block and just force some damage in. Because we're gonna lose the late game. Unless we end this game in like 3 turns, we're gonna lose. Because we're out of cards and no card advantage. And there's... As I was playing, I was very afraid of that. The literally called sweeper. And he had it. So, game is pretty much over. But we're going to play it out and we're going to see where this goes. It's practically over though. So, normally in these circumstances, if you have a sneaking suspicion they have a sweeper, like that card he has in the graveyard there, you generally play around it to the point where you can. If you can't play around it, you just let it rip and see what happens. If you can play around it, though, you try to not lead all of your creatures into it, and try to just make him do it at a non-opportune time. Because if you play into it too much, you're like this. You lose your entire board, you have nothing in your hand, you just can't win the game at that point. And now my opponent's going to just value off and then absolutely murder us. So, gonna go through the motions here, hitting the lands, we're out of gas. Unless we need a miracle, we're definitely gonna lose this game. Alright, opponent is taking their time. Even worse. Killed a counter and a draw 2, so he's just putting the nail in the coffin here. He's got to figure out how. Okay, let's see. What you got, opponent? That's the card I was talking about, Dreadful Apathy. So you can actually pay mana, so 2 and a white, I believe, to exile that card. With the trigger on the stack, you can actually go Flicker of Fate, Flicker the Drowned, the Dreadful Apathy, and then put it on another creature, and you still get the exile effect. So for 5 additional mana, you can actually flicker that, exile a guy, and then get the effect again. It is an amazing combo in this format, and it is so good. But, we're gonna get there. Sweeper kind of put the nail in the coffin. Moving on. Moving on. Great hand. No good 2-drop, but got a good 3-drop and a good 5. So, yeah, they hit a perfect hand 24/7. Okay, hold up a Doomblade. Actually, Return to Nature, but feels like a Doomblade. Alright. So we have 3 3-drops. So ideally, you don't want to play the Relentless Pursuit. You want to get a creature on board. And I kind of risked it here, because if we didn't get a creature, that would have been a terrible pick. We kind of lucked out, and we got there eventually. I do not encourage that. That was not a smart play. Okay. Here at 4-3, not very great. Hit again. Sucks that we lost our Shepherd, but we'll get it back eventually. I was checking to see if you can get back the creature right then off Pursuit, but you have to get it from the top cards. Unfortunate. But we have other means of getting back our rare. So right here, we're just going to keep playing out our board. As a joke, we'll untap this creature. Who cares? We'll pass it up. Set up some blocks. Board state going. We're not guaranteed to win the late game, but we do have a couple more means to win than red-green in the late game. So we have a choice here. You can take the 4, go to 16, or you can just block your 3-3 on the 4-3 and just bait out a pump spell. Honestly, it's fine there baiting out a pump spell, because if your opponent's wasting time doing that and not developing their board, even better for you. Okay, opponent's got some synergy. Spinner is a must-kill card. Card is absolutely a beating. Alright, so we're going to have a very good turn here. can go Blessing to kill the Huntmaster, and then hold up the Return to Nature to kill the Destiny Spinner. And that's what I was mentioning in the actual draft video. Return to Nature just straight up kills a creature. Ooh, that's bad. It's very bad for us. That's gonna be a 2-for-1. Yeah. It's gonna be hard to come back from. That's gonna be very hard to come back from. Not underestimate pump spells in this format. Alright, what do we do? What do we do? Alright, opponent is giving us a chance here. So that attack with a 1/4 is very overconfident because he assumes that we are just dead in the water. We are by no means just dead in the water. And he just threw away a creature. So he's giving us a chance. So let's see if we can use that chance. Because now we can go 5-drop, get a decent attack in here, and then do the same Return to Nature play on his 5-drop creature. So, gets us back in the game. Definitely helps. Ah, there we go. That's bad. So the Crowan War is going to take our creature for 3 turns, allow him to attack with it, and kill anything that's tapped against. So that might be game, but we're going to see what we can do here. We're really going to have to play this smart. Damn, that's a shame. We had a chance here, but that Crowan War is really going to make it hard. Okay, let's get some cards. We'll draw 2. I wish we had the Saga though, but we'll be fine. Alright. So we have a choice here. We can go Return to Nature on the Crowan War to get our guy back at instant speed, but I don't really think it matters as much, and we just want to save the damage from his. Because our blocks really aren't that good anyway. So we're going to go to 1. Doesn't matter. 1's not 0. Remember that. 1 is not 0. You can win many a games at 1 life. So, do not give up. Alright, War is gone, we get back our creature. Opponent is looking very medium now. We have a much better board state, so it's gotta really pull something out here. We have Liar to paralyze big creatures, and we're starting to draw some gas. So we're gonna go on defense for a minute, and then after that, we're gonna start beating. He's running out of gas. Very good draw. Check the Celebrant. We don't want to kill that. If we kill the Celebrant, he gets to pop our Grove Dancer. Get our free kill, and we will start getting in there. So it's kind of a mistake there. I should have attacked with the Dryad as well, but the more passive you are later in the game, the more a problem it becomes, because you can lose to anything. You die to anything. So sometimes you just have to get more aggressive. Okay. Rage Hound is very good. You can block and come back for free. Especially late game, it feels free. Liar can shut that down. And I feel like we make one of our mistakes here, because we don't Liar the Rage Hound immediately. And then we lose a blocker, or we lose an attacker here. So it's always good to really think out your plays before you make them, because I feel like we would have a better chance of winning if I actually Liared the Rage Hound and went in for the same attacks. Because now I can just bring back the Rage Hound easily for at least 4 times, and now I'm out a 3-2 attacker. So, not the best play, but we're still getting in there. That's bad. That is very bad. Not what we wanted to see here. Tap it down, but we're going to do that Rage Hound. Also the fact that he has another 4-power creature, so that Dryad taps for 2. Not great for us. Definitely not great at all. Alright, we're trying to make something work here. You don't want to trade with that Hydra, because that Hydra's going to come back. And that's not what you want to see in a spot like this. Missing action is definitely not where you want to be. But the thing here is you can't be too idle. you're going to lose the late game, because he can just constantly replay this Rage Hound and the Hydra. So, the line here is to get a little more aggressive, and just try to chip in anywhere you can. But we're fine trading this here. Okay. Try to gain a life or two before he dies. Good. Any bit of life gain's good. See, that's the problem too. We kind of needed that 6-drop. Gotta take a gamble there. Very much take a gamble there. But we do have that 4-drop that mills 2 and gets back to permanent, so we're not terribly bad here. Not awful here. It's a very good play from the opponent though. Cards essentially cost 1 green. Looking very bad for us. We'd definitely be back in this game if we had that 6-drop Cataplepus. If we could use it to kill one of his guys and have the attacker again and keep the Hydra nailed down. Okay, that's good. We can trade off with the Rage Hounds and then exile it for good. And that is the amazing part of Cling to Dust. Cling to Dust is an amazing card in this format just because of the versatility. We use it to draw a card, cantrip, and now we can use it later to gain life and exile very problematic permanents. So we are actually looking much better now with that Cling to Dust, because we can make a block on the Rage Hound, exile it, and get back in there. And there goes any advantage. Literally just like that. That's the unfortunate part of Limited. Sometimes it just goes all wrong. If the opponent had anything but a powerful rare, we would have stabilized here. There you go. Don't foresee a win after this, but we're going to try. Be sure don't give up here. Definitely do not give up here. Okay. There's Mogus' favor showing off the fact how easy you can kill X1s. Card's very good. It's also repeatable too. But I don't see a win here. We can go Cling to Dust, stay alive a bit. But we just don't have any action. It's very important to pick your exile effects very well in this format, because you don't know if you ever need something in the graveyard. Escaping too much and hitting the wrong cards can be really good. Alright, that's good. Opponent doesn't have any other action, but we are completely out of gas. We are still at 1 technically, but there's no chance of winning this game. Unless we draw up an absolute miracle, but we just don't have the ability to do so. Yeah, we're just flailing at this point. We needed that other Cataplepus in our hand and not milled. We would have been in a much better position if we actually had him on board. Yeah, there's no point in going there anymore. Go to the actions. Alright, now, if you are ever 0-2 in a draft, very beginning, people usually get disheartened and they kind of just play terribly. Don't. There are many times we can go 0-2 and then win out. So remember, every game is individual. Stand alone. You don't ever get in your own head, start freaking out, thinking, oh, I can't win now. Just play every game like it's an individual game. Whatever you did in the last one doesn't matter. So just keep it normal. Okay, go to this white deck. Gonna have a good 2-drop. Let's see. Our hand's not the most aggressive, but we also don't have the most aggressive deck. Hey, red-white? Well, that's a very good sign. That card is rather bad. The opponent is kind of showing us what his game plan is, because you don't play that unless you really want to get someone dead. So we are going to go Harpy next turn, exile that card, and trade off with the hero. We're doing fine. Looks very good here. We're worried about crazy pump spells or bomb rare. But we're doing good. Get rid of that card so we can't use it again. In these red-white decks, they really need evasion, pump spells, or any sort of tricks, because if you ever get in their way and 2-for-1 them, you just win on the spot. Very easy to beat these decks if you just 2-for-1 non-stop. Like, look at him right now. He's already having issues. I just played one creature and he's already pausing, going back in the tank. Yeah, doesn't do anything. Sure. 18 doesn't matter. Make it even worse for the opponent. Because now it's even worse, because if we ever trade with our Harpy, we get the Harpy back. We 2-for-1 him. He has to kill Shepherd right now. If he doesn't kill the Shepherd, he's in a terrible position. Because all my creatures die twice. See what he does. Alright. Card's fine. Not the best. You can attack around it very easily. The Cyclops has an ability where if you attack with 2 creatures, he cannot block. It's very confused. Which is very flavorful. So, this is a very important part when you're learning how to become a better Magic player. Learning when to attack and when to block. So we are in a winning position right now, but that's not going to be for very long. So it's good here to realize when you're winning, it's good to force that aggression. So the opponent right now has to have a trick, and if he does, we get our Forerunner back. And we at worst get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, possibly 14 damage, which is not lethal by any means. But that's worst case scenario. Best case, he does exactly this. A mild, not even useful attack. And that Cyclops, not good on defense. So this is even worse for him. Kind of slam that. See what we kill. I think you want to kill the Envoy. So you want to get in the air. Good. Let's get in there. Cyclops is not good on defense. The opponent has a problem right now. If they ever attack us back, we can trade with our 6-drop, and it actually dies and then comes back as a 1/1. But you get that ETB again. So ETBs and kill the creature. Our opponent is in a terrible position here. Absolutely terrible. They have to kill the Shepherd and then the 6-drop and then attack. On only 4 mana. And I think they're realizing that. And they concede. So, very standard game. Alright, moving on to the next one. Okay. Another slow hand, but it's a slow deck, so not really too surprised on that one. Alright. Let's see how this goes. We gotta grind back in this. And it doesn't matter if you're in gold or mythic or platinum, every game's the same. Just play the best of your ability. Alright. Depending on what he does here, determines what we play on turn 3. If he is a passive person, you play the Harpy to attack. If he's super defensive or super aggressive, you play the Warden. But for now, we're just going to play at the 3/3 and do a both aggressive and a defensive creature. Doesn't matter too much in this spot. What we're looking out for right now in the red-black decks is they have a lot of ways of stealing your creatures temporarily and then sacrificing them for value. So, gotta look out for that. Okay, opponent's developing mana. Doing a bunch of crazy stuff. Yep. Adds 1 of any color. Useful to just take you from 3 to 5. Very good card in sealed. Not so much in draft though. A little fancy here. I don't think we'll need the favor for any of his creatures, but we'll see. The choice you can do, you can Mokus's favor your scout to do its 5 damage, or hold it for his other X1s. But I think it's really up to you at that point. We're going to get very lucky here. Because one, we played the Reach creature. Didn't have no idea that the Phoenix of Ash was coming, but it's just a good upside. And we can actually hold off that creature, because that Phoenix is amazingly powerful. That Phoenix is so hard to beat, but thankfully we actually prioritize some Graveyard Exile effects, and we can actually take it out fairly easily. That's why you need to know the scope of the limited format, and know which cards are more powerful in those settings. Because if you're heavy graveyard sets, you need to play around that. You can't just pick random cards and use the metagame a little bit. Alright, that is very good for us. Opponent is using a premium kill spell for a common. That means his hand is most likely very bad and has no pressure. So we're gonna just coast through this one and probably just try to stomp him to victory. Fill out the bird, attack him for 1, and keep asserting our board dominance. Because he can play a creature, we can kill it. He can kill our Brawler, which is totally fine. We have a lot of action in our hand. Alright. So we have a choice here. You can trade with that, but I don't really want to. And I want to keep using the advantage of our Liar. So, not the best play, but we're going to tap down this creature and use up our entire turn, and then crack him in for 5. And the thought process there is because we don't really want to trade off our 4/4 because we have no board pressure then. And our opponent really gets priced into just answering our creatures. So we get that 7/3 out of the way, and the next turn we are going to Harpy the Bird. Okay, totally fine. Get one of our creatures. No worries there. And this is why we wanted to make sure the Brute didn't trade with our Brawler, because now we can do this. We can go Harpy to kill the Phoenix, and then we can Mogus's favor our Brawler to get a little power boost, and then speed up this clock. Now we can take it into 1. So now the opponent has 2 options. He must kill the 6/3, and your Harpy, and the eventual Timuret. And he can't do it with a creature, because Liar untaps, and you can just tap that creature. So you get him in a position where he is dead to the air creature, he's dead to your ground creature, and his common answers don't do anything. So he needs to have a very specific answer to get out of the situation. And that is what you want to be with all your tactics. Really make the opponent very uncomfortable. And that's why he's in the tank. He doesn't know what to do. Yep, unless he makes a really good play, I see this game ending this turn. What do you have, opponent? You have... Okay. It's one of the exile, or they call them active treason effects, where you get to steal a creature and get slight value. It's only really good when you have a sack outlet, though, because he would take our creature and sacrifice it. But he's very far behind. Okay, next one. We're back in it. We are 2-2 right now. Alright, another solid hand. Very slow, just the way we like it. Just the way we like it. In Limited, you really don't want to mulligan unless you very much have to, because being down a card in Limited feels terrible. You don't get the full value out of Harpy, but you just want to play it. Another blue deck. Picking out some cards. These blue-black decks are very good at tempo. It will counter, bounce your stuff, and play very evasive creatures to get the wins. Totally fine. It's actually really good for us. So we can just curve into the Acolyte and just get our card back. 2 for 1 the opponent. But in this case, we want to guarantee our land drops. And getting a land drop over a generic 2/1 flyer is actually more important here. You lose more games to not being able to play your spells. That's a very good combo from the opponent. It's a problem for us. That 4-drop allows him to bounce the Omen he played repeatedly, getting a definite card draw. So we have to get that thing off the table as quickly as possible. Just like that. This is the joy of this format. There's so many synergies. Alright. That one is... okay, good defender. That Return to Nature was an amazing draw. It means we don't have to go Brawler in order to actually get a kill. We're going to change our play a little bit. Good anyway though. Nothing wrong with that. It's 2 for 1. We're going to hold Return to Nature for a larger enchantment creature. Alright. Devour is a good clock. Unblockable card. But for now, we're going to do a very fancy play. So, we have the Cataplepus, which has an ETB of reducing a creature's power and toughness. You have a choice. You can attack your 4/4 and do a 3/5 and trick them. Or you can do tricks like these and just get them off the board initially. So it's a matter of how cute's the word, how cute you want to be in these. For now, we'll bait out the trick. The fizzles are Liar. But the joy of Liar is the fact that it's repeatable. That's why the card is an absolute bomb in this format. Its value. We are at parity right now. But he has a lot more card selection than we do. So we can honestly win this a lot easier than we are. See what he has. A chance we take 6 off that. That's what he's deciding. Always good draw. We'll try that again. We'll get the 4/6 out of the way. And then we're going to hit him for a lot. And then play our 2/2. So now we have the opponent a spot where he's just in a terrible position. He can't block with those Devourers. He can't outrace us. Blue-black does not have any sort of power boosting or combat spells that are really good. So he has a choice here. He can kill off one of our creatures, or just try to race us. And I think he assumed that it worked multiple times, but the way those Devourers work is you only get 1 instance for each one. So they're really built that way. So another win. We are 3-2. Moving on to the next one. That's what I mean. Exactly what I mean. Does not matter your wins and loss. Like each game individually. Alright, another good hand. Favor can kill off a 1 power creature or 1 toughness creature. We have a 2-drop and a 3-drop. A hand of playables. Good draw. Love to hit lands, but we will see. We shall see. Little black-red deck. And Slaughter Priest is one of those very good sacrifice payoffs. For 1 of any color, you can sacrifice a creature and get a benefit for him, which I believe is +2 power and menace. So these decks are very efficient at taking creatures and sacrificing them. A staple of black-red decks in Limited. Alright, Rage Hound is very good, but that's the joy of Mogus' Favor. It answers that card very cleanly. Next turn we're going to Harpy it away. So, let's press our advantage. Very aggressive use of that card, but if you want to keep those sack outlets off the board, it makes your deck a lot worse. There's another one. A good black-red deck does. Just takes your guys and kills them on their side. Get in there. Press the advantage when you can. And there it is. So that is threat and effect number 1. He's going to steal our guy, get the scry effect, hit us with it, and then sacrifice it. That's the worst part. You have to take damage from it. You can't block your own creature. It just feels so bad value-wise. Thankfully, he only took a very mild redrop creature. And the joy of Mogis' favor here is the fact that it is so versatile, we can use it to get through his attacker. He doesn't want to trade here. I'd be very surprised if he is. The red card is very premium to strategy. Alright, so now it gets funny here. When you've Cling to Dust and a Cling to Dust, you can actually sequence them, so I get the effect first and I fizzle his. That's what happened there. Alright. Keep playing. Business as usual. Good mill. Mill to rare. Crack him for 2, and then see how this goes. He's a choice. He can cling one of our actual cards. I don't really care though. He has a lot of stuff he can cling. And again, we don't care about this either. We do lose a creature, but it is just 1 for 1. He played a card, we lost a card. Who cares? Getting his Cling Dust out of the graveyard and one of his other cards, very good though. We are definitely winning this late game. Alright. Business as usual. The graveyard check. Now you don't want to cling here because you want to use your cards for the binding. You want to return a card. So we thought about doing it, but it just wasn't worth it. It's not worth it. Good draw. Liar is very good. So you don't always have to get your rares back. What is better here is the fact that we can just get back a creature that kills his and 2 for 1s and just call it a day there. If we get back to 4/4, yes, it helps and our guys die twice, but it just because a card is a rare doesn't mean you have to always prioritize them. Limited is about the exact cards you need exactly when you need them. So moving on. This one goes. Trying to claw back in there. We are 5-2, I believe. So let's rattle off 2 more and hopefully get that trophy. Great hand. Another great hand. A lot of blue decks. Okay, Prophecy. Big card on turn 2. Use out that hand real well. So that card allows him to name another card, and then when he plays it in the turn after, he draws 2. So you're essentially playing a 2-mana enchantment that allows you to draw 2 cards and smooth out your hand. It's kind of a wheel spinning, but still very good. Yep. It's a useful trick to tap your mana dork and then untap them with that, because the auto tapper in this game, not the best when it comes down to knowing exactly what to do. Okay, we're gonna let him draw 2. Looks like he is almost a mono blue player. Get a value. Kill the lionfish. Lionfish is kind of annoying. Tap your guys down if they play spells on your turn. You're just gonna get in there. So opponent can block, we don't really care. If he does, we go Acolyte. If he doesn't, we're just gonna play Harpy. Good to have backup plans unlimited. Alright, going well. Obviously does give him a little more gas than we have, but we're still doing fine here. We're doing absolutely fine here. It's very good. Pursuit. A lot of card selection. It's essentially the green divination. The 2 and a green draw 2. Alright. So we're going to think about it a bit. We're not going to run into a counterspell. 5 blue up and 5 cards in hand is generally a counterspell. And there you go. We actually didn't play into it this time. Alright, we're going to keep playing. We're 1 off to go double spell, but we still have Acolyte Reflection. And our opponent, I don't know if he's mono blue, but it'd be very strange if he was. He's probably missing a color right now. Also probably not happy about it. Yeah. He is digging very deep. A lot of card draw. It might just be mono blue. Now you pick the rare. You definitely don't pass it up there. Even better. That card is not very good if you don't have any cost reduction. You can cost reduce it, it's very good at a 5-drop 7/6 or 5-drop 5/6. But if you don't, it's a little bit hard. We messed up our sequencing there. If you go Warden to the Shepherd, you gain 2 life. The opponent has a couple things he can do here. There are cards in blue that massively bounce the board. They don't kill him, but they reset your tempo. I don't think we really care, though. He's got to make a miracle here. It's not it. Certainly not the miracle he needs. He has time, though. He has now lost that time. Liar, very good at stopping his blockers. Alright, that's great. We are, I believe, 6-2 now? So we have one... We've gone on a winning streak since we went 0-2. So keep that winning streak going. His hand is not very good. If we don't hit that 3rd land, we are just dead. Could have been a mulligan here, but we got lucky. No creatures on the board, though. We're gonna have to play that long game. Alright. We're playing a very good 2-drop. We are now set for the late game, though. Right, and lands. Cling to Dust in the graveyard is very good. That's why the Pursuit is also good, because it puts cards in the graveyard. And escape cards might as well be a card in your hand. So sometimes we draw 3. Right, we are behind on board. But we have some good defensive creatures. Keep guaranteeing those land drops. So we do have to kill that Destiny Spinner. If we don't, we are going to lose to it. Because the card is a very relevant late game. And it just gets worse. Eutropa is amazing. Whenever he plays an enchantment, he's going to buff his creatures and get flying. So we're going to have to kill that right now, even though it's not efficient. Thankfully we have a 3-drop double spell. We are chugging along. Not bad, not great. Alright, pretty generic card. What's the Beetle, though? Not that great for us. Gotta get that off the table. And then we get some, stall out the game a bit. So, honestly, the better line would probably be to kill the Horn Beetle, because if he ever has any 4-power or greater creature, that Horn Beetle gets out of control very quickly. But we have a second Bleepus, and we have another Liar, so we're good, we're good. We're in a good spot here. Alright. Grab the second one. Kill off the spinner. And if If he has any interaction here or counters us, we are in a world of trouble. Like he does. He's reading. He's reading. He doesn't. Wow. That's what he has. Okay. He's got to have something. That sort of pause doesn't mean nothing. More enchantments. So now we actually have a problem. So Destiny Spinner has an effect where you go 3 and a green, animate a land, meaning turn it to a creature, and its power and toughness are equal to the amount of enchantments on the field. Currently he has 4, meaning at any time he can pay 4 mana to make a 4/4 and pump his beetle before combat. So we are not in a good position here, so we can't attack anything on board. And he's in the spot where lands are actually good for him. We have to come up with something now to get back in this game. Alright, what's the play? He's gonna do exactly that. Make a 4/4, pump his creature, and pass it up. So, could have been a lot worse. Definitely could have been a lot worse. Okay. Can't do anything now with that, but try to set up plays. If we had any sort of early aggression, we could have actually pushed an airborne clock, but without that, this Harpy's going to have to do a lot of work. Oh, and that is just terrible. It's another enchantment for his Destiny Spinner. And a naturally 4-powered creature with a Horn Beetle. He's just going to outpower us with creatures on board. Now we lost our only attacker. Even worse. We're in a world of trouble here. This doesn't even do anything. Sets up a very temporary attack, but he's just going to take it. And now that he's actually been drawing these lands, he can animate more lands off Spinner and just keep hammering us with it, because now they're 5/5s. So. Even worse for us. More toughness. We can't attack through that now. It's also holding up activation. Moments like these, you have to honestly look to your outs and figure out what to do in the next 5 turns and what you can and can't draw. So, we're at a point where we're not winning on board. We are inevitably going to lose in about 2 to 3 turns. And we need to figure out a plan how to get through this. We don't have any targeted removal, because we did not find any. And we don't have any additional card draw. So we have to work with what we have and figure out what to do from here. Sometimes, that's nothing. Sometimes you just have nothing to do. But, figure it out, you play it out, and you go from there. Like, our only out here is probably a Graveyard Recursion effect and going Light Breath on the Spinner, but we need exactly the 2-drop Saga. We need it now. You don't want to trade too aggressively. If you do, you run into board state and you just can't fight him back. Life is meant to be used. So, not be afraid to get below 10. Alright. Any more haymakers? Not a haymaker, but... Where's a blocker? Filters out those lands. Okay. Opponent is firmly in the driver's seat here. Just by sheer creature power. He can make armies of 7/7s whenever he wants. Try to draw a card. Can't give up yet. We gotta find something. I don't think we have anything, but we're gonna certainly look. That's not gonna help. That looks like it's it. We're gonna have to make a very bad block here. We'll take our creature for free. And we are still not gonna have any ability to attack. Yeah. That is death. So we're gonna call it, and I believe that ends at 5-3. So we had a 5-win streak. Yeah, definitely great. So ending out with the deck, certainly good, certainly fun, and thank you for joining us.